I think often we look at manifestation like it's some magical thing. If you plant a seed and you tend to it, if you plant a butternut squash seed and you tend to it, you're going to get a butternut squash.
You know, earth element is always my jam because I feel
Or
like
not. Jam
this is
and not.
yeah. Well, it's one of my greatest struggles, but
Mm,
you know, this for me is the place that I'm always tapping into to expand resources
right.
and to, you know, I mean, talk about holistic wealth. You know, it's like this element is such an embodiment of that, I think. We recently have been putting together a new version of one of our processes that's called the Philosopher's Stone, where we actually
Mm,
take people through all the elements and alchemize each and every one of the elements and clear all 5 primary questions associated with each element. We're creating a new version of that process. We're creating primary questions for the wealth specific side of this element. And so this is the place where, you know, we create primary questions like, who will resource me?
right.
How can I create stability in my resources?
Mm-hmm,
How can I get what I want from the world?
mm-hmm.
Why can't I manifest my desires?
Yeah.
Why can't I hold clear intention and cultivate my ideas?
Yeah.
So when this element's out of balance, we have a big issue transforming ideas into action. Can you talk a little bit about that and like why that stagnation with manifestation occurs when the yi is disturbed?
Yeah, because manifestation is an interesting thing. It almost becomes a hashtag, doesn't it, to our wellness needs in the industry that is wellness. But we can only ever really be devoted with clarity and like the intention that it takes to see the harvest through when we are in the integrity of ourselves. And this element is really about the overriding emotion of this element is sympathy, or the need to be heard and understood. But that really speaks into our own capacity to have compassion for ourselves and to really hear and understand our own individual needs, and just speaking into the cultivation of self, because of this element is really about self nourishment, or our capacity to nourish others outside of ourselves and our lives outside of ourselves appropriately after we have fed the soils of ourselves enough. If we have not done that, then we don't have enough energy to cultivate the soils of ourselves. We don't have enough energy to stick to intention with the clarity of mind and the devotion to kind of plow the fields of ourselves, rather than jumping the fence and plowing the fields of others. So this is really what it means about this element of manifestation and the clarity of that. Because if you are continuously hopping fields to kind of pick weeds out of other fields that are not your own, then that doesn't allow us the energetic resources to be able to see harvest. And it's, this is symbiosis, right? It's like, I think often we look at manifestation like it's some magical thing. If you plant a seed and you tend to it, if you plant a butternut squash seed and you tend to it, you're going to get a butternut squash. Okay. If you plant a corn seed and the seed has the right soil, the right, external environment, ecological, environmental requirements, you're going to get corn. It just
Yeah.
is what it is.